Hello, everyone! Welcome to one more musical episode of Talking Times. This is the 98th episode already. Damn, and I always do this. Oh boy. Today we're gonna talk about music, about learning English, a lot of good stuff here. And don't forget, if you are not subscribed in our channel, leave a message, subscribe, and if you're watching this in a class, get your phone. I always do that. Get your phone, enter that because it's gonna help us too, okay? Well, let's get this episode started right after our intro. Hello, Everton. Welcome, man.
Hey, how you doing?
Well, I am messy. Not always, but I guess it's 8 out of 10 times I forget to mute my phone. I'm checking the comments here and then I start the intro and hello. Well, it happens. We were talking right before we start about um, getting anxious about doing something important or a presentation and stuff like that, you know.
Mhm.
Uh, One thing that I normally do is I screw up a lot of times, and then it's not on purpose, by the way, but then eventually my brain gets to that point. Well, actually, if it doesn't go exactly how you expect, just go with the flow and get the best out of it, and that's fine.
Just have fun. Just go
Exactly.
ahead and have fun. Yeah.
Yes. Well, can you please introduce yourself, Everton, to everyone watching us?
Hi guys, my name is Everton. My friends call me Everton Pessan, which is the Portuguese pronunciation, but my true name is Everton Pereira Santos. So it's a funny story. By the time I started playing in a band, I had to decide if I was going to be either Everton Pereira or Everton Santos. And then I was, I'm gonna mingle, I'm gonna mix these two last names together. It's a Latin thing, right? To have lots of last names. So I'm gonna become Everton Pessan. It caught on, people like friends or people who don't know me just call me sometimes Pessan. So that's me, Everton Pessan or Everton. Or my jiu-jitsu buddies call me Borracha because I'm very flexible. So it's like a rubber man. I have lots of nicknames depending on where I am, but just call me whatever. Just call me hey. Hi, hey, how you doing? Good.
Borracha is like a fighter, a jiu-jitsu fighter
Borrachinha,
nickname.
yes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, I thought
yeah.
about that as well. Nice. I did the same thing, man, because Mike is my real name, but I don't know, in Brazil it sounds like a dog's name, or a pet name. Like, and then I said,
Like Max,
okay,
right?
yeah. So my family name is kind of boring for a musician's name. So I found this Ophel word, and I said, "Oh, I like this word. So okay, it's gonna be Michael Fell from now
Yeah.
on." That's me on the internet.
It is very
Uh,
musical. Michael Fell. It's a nice name.
yeah. So the my gringo friends they normally say everything together. No, Michael Fell is fun, but it's okay.
Fun.
So we on the title of this podcast we mentioned like some about math and programming, English and music. Let's start with the English part, Everton.
All right.
Can you tell us a little bit about what you do and it is related to adult teaching, right?
It is. Yeah.
What's about that? How does it work?
The adult teaching part.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So I graduated in English and Portuguese education, which is a course in Brazil which prepares you to teach English in elementary or either middle or high school, right? And then in Brazil, what we have is we call it concurso público, which is like
Mm-hmm.
you are a public server for the government, but you have to take a test, in order to enter. And then I did, right, for my state. And then for 3 years straight, I taught English for kids or teenagers, right? So
Mm-hmm.
either either for the ones who are preparing to take the vestibular or SATs or NA, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or for kids who are learning the very basic of the language. Well, 3 years later, I started working um, within the Office of Education in Sergipe, right? So my first role there was to work with kids and teenagers who failed multiple years. So they were
Oh.
being left behind, right? So
Hmm.
what we did was this educational program, which we called Sergipe na Idade Certa, something like Sergipe uh, for the right age or something like that. So what we
Hmm.
did was to correct these amount of fails they had to put them together again with their peers. So they were being left behind. 5 years later, they were able to graduate with the ones they started with. Well, this was one set of my work. Now, what I do is I work with literacy, uh, teaching the basics for the ones in Sergipe, in my state, adults who can't read anything. So that's what I do. Well, I don't go there, for the schools to teach. I have a group of teachers. I have a group of people helping me with that. But yes, what we do is we teach adults how to read.
Man, that's a beautiful work. That's a lot to take from that. First, I was thinking here, when you started doing this job, the reason the students were getting left behind, were they more individual learning problems and something more peculiar to each one of them, or you thought it was the system? Because that's a big discussion in Brazil, how to fix our education, or if you don't like the word fix, maybe how to improve. It was the system that was kind of leaving them behind, or were individual students? What was your take from that?
Yeah, very, very good question. One would think that it would be that the kid has a problem of learning, he has a disability. It ain't that. It's nothing like that. It is a system, right? So, can you imagine people who are very poor, who have parents who don't read, who don't encourage them to read and study and do their homework? So it's a bigger problem, right? So what we take into account is that we want to take the ones who are being left behind and bring them to the right track. We use this term to bring them to the right track by offering them different methodologies. And one main thing within this program is that we make the kid believe that he's capable, that he or she is capable of anything. And we have beautiful stories of people who were embraced by this program and are now in the university, for example. So it's not the
Man, it's
kid's
amazing.
problem. Yeah, it's not the kid's problem at all. It is a bigger issue, right? So it's a bigger problem which takes lots of efforts for them to being back in the right track.
Man, this is interesting. Nice selection of words, track, because as as I see it's like this, you get like a race, and the way we're describing is like these people. The starting point is like way back than the other peoples that were doing fine, So you kind of fix it by doing this extra attention to them.
And you know what? Me myself, I failed the eighth grade when I was a teenager. It was the year that my parents got a divorce, and then my father ran away to São Paulo. It's my story is crazy. And then we were left with nothing, so we had to move into my grandmother's house. We had to rebuild lives. And then the next year I didn't study, so I was late for 2 years, right? So I was one of those kids who were left behind. And the interesting point here is that these kids sometimes they have a lot of potential, and we don't know. The teacher doesn't know. The school doesn't know. The system doesn't know, and they are being left behind. So if we do something for them, and we did, right? CGP was my state was the worst in this scenario of having kids left behind. We are now not the best ones, but we corrected a lot of the issues that we had. But yeah, we have to believe that these kids can do anything they want.
Interesting, because if the kids, especially when they're teenagers, they have like all those hormones are kicking in, cortex not fully developed, a lot of stress and puberty and all of that,
Lots of
and then
stress.
yeah, yeah, and then you have the pressure of doing well in school. It's a tough challenge. Uh, being realistic, do you see like hope in the future of education in
Oh
Brazil?
yes. No, if I didn't, I wouldn't be working for them, right? So
Nice.
I always say whenever I give a lecture or I'm talking to principals or students or sometimes mayors, which I do, is that education was the door open and in which I could do anything I wanted. So I'm here, now trying to do the best so these kids can go through that door too.
Nice. Another thing you said about helping the student to believe that he actually can learn it and do anything. The school that I work here, at times I sometimes have to have this type of chat with students, and like, I think the method is not for me, or maybe I'm dumb. And then I said, okay, tell me, how exactly are you studying? What are you doing? And turns out a lot of the difficulties that they have is because they have this starting point in their head that is like, I am supposed to know when I go to a class, I can commit mistakes. And then when you explain to the student, well, the way we want you to learn English here is actually more natural and lighter than the ways you have been trying. You will learn the exactly same way you have learned your first language. So it's like they feel all this heavy load, lift off their shoulders. Like, oh really? Yeah. Like imagine you are like a kid learning how to speak. The difference is as an adult you have all your backgrounds and these paths that you can make these associations and connect during the classes. I'm telling you all of this just to have one specific question, Everton. Is it more challenging teaching kids, teens, or adults?
Oh, adults for sure, because adults they can,
they
yeah, you can relate.
behave like kids sometimes too, but
Yeah,
not bad way.
and the thing with adults is that they get frustrated more easily than teenager or kids. I always say as a teacher, as an English teacher, that little kids are like sponges, right? They learn very fast and then they forget very fast, but they learn faster than the rest. So it is easier to teach kids, teenager, because of all of these problems that you said.
Yeah.
Sometimes are complicated, and then adults get frustrated really fast. So I always tell my adult students to relax, just like you said. This is like learning your first language, like your first new language. So it is going to be little by little. Remember that before speaking the very first word, when you were maybe one or two, you listened to people talking around you a lot. So if you want to learn English, have English being around you on the TV, with music, with everything. So it becomes a habit, right? And we have those people on Instagram or on YouTube selling miracle courses, which will make people speak within 6 months. We teachers know that it's not impossible, but it's not for everybody. So what I tell adult students is have discipline, right? When you have discipline, you can learn anything.
I'm laughing here because I was watching a YouTube video. I almost enrolled to a course today. The guy was like, Rush to varas. Oh, sorry, I didn't mention that. Every time I say something Russian, something funny happens here. But the guy was like talking to, I don't know if it was Korean, and then like, and then people like, oh my God, like your Korean so neat. And then
Oh,
like, and then he said, "Oh, you're gonna learn with my method how to speak like any language in like something like this 2 months." I speak
yeah.
9 languages, and I said, "Oh my God, I need to learn how to speak Russian. Imagine what would do." But okay,
And you know
I
what?
held my horses.
Yeah, and the other thing is that adults and maybe sometimes teenagers, they want to speak as a native speaker, and then I say
Oh yeah.
it's impossible. I mean, like if you learn as a little kid, you will speak as a native, but speaking with your Brazilian accent or whatever accent that you have, it is nice outside. People will be like, you have a nice accent, where are you from? And
Hmm.
then it get interesting. So never get frustrated if you don't speak as a native speaker. You will never will.
Yeah, it becomes like an icebreaker, you know. Yeah. It
Yeah.
becomes an icebreaker and something to connect and to tell your story. I guess people could try to kind of imitate the accent, but they will have to be like voice actors and actors in general, and it wouldn't be natural. They would have to be this active effort 100%. It's like if I start talking to you like that, eventually I'm gonna slip away and my accent is gonna crumble. I can do
For
that
example,
forever, you
you're
know.
from São Paulo, right? Probably.
Yeah, not exactly. I'm from Campinas. Yeah, we
All
we
right. Yeah.
say the door is open here.
Yeah. It's like you're trying to imitate a accent. It's you're not gonna. You can
Hmm.
try, and it's the same, for me. But yeah, it won't happen because you have your accent. This is how languages work.
Yeah, and in a way, it's like what we call here, like a stray dog syndrome. You know, like when you see somebody else speaking in Portuguese, for example, and we say, "Oh my God, you're learning my language. That's amazing." They should feel the same when they are making an extra mile, walking an extra mile to speak the language of other people. You are
Exactly.
facilitating the communication, right?
And funny thing, I taught Portuguese in the United States. I'm gonna
Oh
talk
my
about.
God, tell us that. Yeah, tell us
Yeah.
about it.
So in 2013, I got a Fulbright scholarship, um, and I went to Illinois State University, which
Hmm.
is in the city of It's a funny name. The city is called Normal. So where do you live in Normal? That's the city. That's the name of the city. So it's a small city, but in it basically the whole city is the school, right? There are like 20,000 people, but it's 1 hour away from Chicago. So
Hmm.
we had a connection with a big city. And then I was selected with other people from all over Brazil to teach Portuguese at a college, in a college level way. So it was funny. I had 12 students on my first term, and then I had maybe 10 on the second, and I taught Portuguese 101, which is the basic course. It was funny. Most of them already spoke Spanish, which made easier for them to understand. But the thing is, when you teach another language in a different country, you have to teach a lot about culture too. So what I did was I created a Brazilian club in this university, and we did lots of cultural things. I prepared feijoada and brigadeiro for them, of course.
Nice.
And also, I joined jiu-jitsu classes there. Well, I say jiu-jitsu because the jiu-jitsu, which is around the world right now, is the Brazilian version. And then also
Exactly.
capoeira, etc., etc., etc. And I was very popular because I was the kind of the leader of the Brazilians who were there, because I wasn't a professor per se, but I taught at the university, and I was president of the club, so I knew all of the Brazilians around the city, and they invited me to lots of frat parties at that time, which was
Man,
awesome.
that's a nice. That's a nice, awesome. Yeah,
It
and
was it
hence the
was
nickname Borrachinha. That you come on.
it was like
Uh,
living the what's the movies called? The movie back in the
American
2000s.
Pie.
It was like living American Pie in real life. It was crazy but awesome. Yes, and that's one of the ways in which I developed my English, because I lived for 1 year abroad. But I was telling that teaching adults is difficult because they get very frustrated. I learned English as an adult, so if I could, everybody else can, right? It's not impossible. I because we were really poor. We didn't have the money to go into a English institute like yours, right? So what I did
Hmm.
was that I had to learn with the things that were around me. And where's the it's not here. I was gonna show it. Just a second. But these helped me a lot. Video games.
Amazing. Amazing.
Because everything is in
Oh,
English, so you
yeah.
either understand or you never advance into other stages of the games.
Yeah, but that's crazy because thinking about game classes and using video games is essentially you are using the problem or project based learning, the PBL methodology to learn. So it's like this. Okay, I want to go to the next level. I want to beat that boss. So I need to find the item or solve the puzzle. And well, if people can spend hours playing those Souls-like games, to play a regular game that is not that sadistic while you learn the language is fine. You guys will survive. Yeah.
It's awesome, yes. So,
Uh,
like, if you want to play, I was trying my favorite game. It's not here. If you want to play Skyrim, for example, which is
man, you
this,
cannot mention Skyrim. It's a forbidden word here.
it is my favorite game.
Skyrim, mine too. That's the problem.
And
Skyrim, Lord of
Fallout.
the Rings is off the no, but let's go to Skyrim.
So
Okay.
Skyrim is like an immersion into English because
Mm.
everybody, all of the NPCs are talking to you in the language.
I used
So
to be
you,
an adventurer like you. Then I took an arrow in my knee.
yeah. What are you doing? What are you doing when you're punching your friend? And you know what? When I lived in Illinois, I got a really bad winter. It was 30, minus 30 Celsius around me. And I was playing Skyrim. It was like being in the game because, you
Oh, it
look,
was a 4D experience.
yeah, you look out the window, the snow is falling really hard. No school because the snow get really high, right? And it
Uh-huh.
was like living in Skyrim and talking to people within the game and then outside, right? So I was with my friend. Hey, I'm gonna punch you, and then you're gonna say, "What are you doing?" Just like this characters.
Yeah, man.
I
If
think this because
you
I had friends from Russia with a thick accent too.
Scarring and Russian in the same episode, man. You're gonna crack
True,
me up.
yes.
What are you doing, man? You are going to the wrong direction.
The only thing missing was life ain't perfect.
Say that again, please.
The only thing missing were dragons.
Oh yeah,
Outside.
yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's my favorite part. And if you have the snow coming out of your window, and you put the Skyrim soundtrack there in your living room.
Exactly.
Look at the wind. Okay, nice.
Yeah.
For those that are not familiar with Skyrim and why people who like it are so nerdy about
Nerds,
it,
people,
yeah.
sorry.
No, it's because it's like playing Grand Theft Auto, like GTA, that you can do a lot of stuff. You have a big world that you can explore, but you can do that with dragons. It's basically that. It's really, really fun to do. It's really fun. I don't know if you got to that level, Everton, but have you ever got to a place and you started reading the books? For example, you go to a dungeon, and there is this old books there. You get and start to get into the stories inside the game.
Yeah, yeah. It's a DLC called Dragonborn, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yes. Oh, I've played
It,
this game. I got out of all the trophies, so yes.
Nice. All right. So we are mentioning one thing that I want to talk to you. That is when you are learning in let's say, an orthodox way, you could use games, and you have this big passion with music. So can you tell us how music relates to the way you learn to English and the other stuff you do today?
Right, right. So I've been a musician ever since I was a little kid. My father is a trumpet. My father is not a trumpet. He plays the trump. He plays it.
Mhm.
What do you call it? Trumpet. Jesus, Trump is messing with my mind right now. He plays the
Yeah.
trumpet. So he's a trumpet. He's a he
Player?
plays the trumpet. Yeah, yeah. Sorry.
No, this was very funny because like my father is a and you man. See, well, not exactly like this.
Not a trumpet for sure. Well, but anyway, he's a musician. He's always been a musician too, ever since he was a kid. And then by the time I was 4, he got me into this music school for kids, and then I started playing the violin, which I don't play anymore. But from the age of 4 to like 9, I played the violin. Right, I learned the violin.
Not
And
man,
then
nice.
and then I studied at this more sophisticated music school, which we call like a musical conservatory. I think this is the
Hmm.
word in English. And then I changed my instrument into piano. So I started playing the piano. You can see one of my keyboards is in the back right there.
Yeah,
So I
this is one
started.
that I want to learn in the future. You know, piano.
Yeah, it's not hard. It's just like languages. It takes discipline, right?
Yeah.
So I started playing the piano. Well, I always my mother and father, they didn't listen to music in English. My father is a Amado Batista fan. My mother is a Zezé de Camargo and Luciano fan. So no
Okay.
English, right? But because because of games, I already knew a little bit of English. And then one of my cousins who were passionate about Michael Jackson gave me a cassette player,
Hmm.
those old little
Yeah,
tape.
I had a Walkman.
Yeah,
Man.
oh, dude, you're old. Well, so
Yeah.
she gave me this tape with lots of songs in English, and it was like, you know, now I know that not it's not only Amado Batista and Zezé de Camargo e Luciano in the road anymore. Now I know Michael Jackson and Madonna and Aha and Queen, blah 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 blah. And then when I became a teenager, my good friend Denison, who was on the chat by the way, he's the one who said so flexible on the
Oh
comment.
yeah, he put here Preto man, so flexible.
Yeah,
Yeah, shout
he's
out
my
to you,
best
man.
friend.
Hmm.
So
Nice.
he's my best friend, and he had a computer in his house, and he already listened to music in English. I remember that the first time that I listened to Queen, which is my favorite band, was in his. It was like, this is opera. This is everything that I know, but it's also rock. I gotta learn this. So this is how I started paying attention on the lyrics, for example, right? So I could start relating music, which was within my blood, with English. There was something new, and then I started listening to lots of band, etc. And then when I was preparing to enter college, this teacher, Marcos Giovanni, was an English teacher, brought us, which English teachers do nowadays very easily, but he brought us songs for us, not to translate, but fill the blanks, those
Uh
activities.
huh.
Then I started paying attention to the syntax and new words and everything that was within the song. So yeah, I could relate more easily what I knew that was music with this new thing, which was English.
It's very it's such a nice feeling when before you are fluent in the language, you focus on I don't know new words and the melodies. For example, you are listening like oh my god, I like how it sounds, but I don't understand. I hope it's not something nasty or dirty or whatever. Then when you start to understand, you have another connection that you make listening to the songs. Uh, it's very funny. Even today happens. I was listening to this song on the radio. And I was like, "What the hell is she singing
Is that
about?
is
I
that
cannot
English?
understand." No, exactly. I was exactly like this. What is that? What is that? Then man, it got stuck in my head. I said, man, can I not understand this? How is that? I was like, it's a bit of ego too, but I was really trying hard, and the
Yeah, yeah,
song's
yeah.
playing three times in a day. Then I checked the lyrics and the name apartment APT. I said, it's APT, is exactly what it sounds like, but I was kind of way off trying to imagine what was happening there. But was
Gotcha.
that a particular song, Everton, that was special to you when you were learning, like,
Woo. I
or a
think
band maybe? Mhm.
I remember with the tape that my cousin gave me, I used to listen repeatedly "Heal the World" by Michael Jackson,
Mhm.
because the not only the lyrics but the melody was very interesting for my head, So
Mhm.
yeah,
Is the
so
slow one? Heal the world.
yeah,
Na,
yeah,
na,
make
na.
it a better place for you
Oh,
and for me. This one, yeah. So this is one of the songs, and then when I started listening to Queen, I got really interested in knowing what Bohemian Rhapsody was talking about. So I
oh, you
started.
started with that one, man. That cause
Yeah. Oh, and by the way, in Portuguese, my favorite one when I was a kid was Faroeste Caboclo. So I like
okay, long songs.
long songs. Yes. Yeah, because
Nice, nice.
songs are nice, but songs who tell a story are nicer. That's what I think. So this is why one of
Mm.
my favorite bands is this rock band called Dream Theater, and
Oh my God, nice.
each
Hmm.
album they tell a different story, right? So it's more interesting. Yes.
I the first one I got from them was, I guess, Metropolis Part Two. The I had this friend that is one of the best musicians that I've ever met, and he was crazy about them because
Right.
he was learning, how to play the guitar, and he really liked Joe Petrucci. Like, oh my God, he's the best guitar
Oh,
player of the world.
it is.
And he showed that to me, like, oh look, he's telling a story. And then I don't know if you know that one, Pain of Salvation.
I might know. Is it the same album?
No, is a band that has the same vibe. It's like a prog metal band.
Okay. Okay.
And man, the guy's such a great composer. He can tell a story in the album about something personal that you see, that is the way he can cope to that difficult time in his life through art. It's beautiful. It's like out of his misery he can create something beautiful, and that connects to other people. It's really nice. I recommend you start with Hope Ends. It's a nice song from Pain of Salvation. Yeah.
Because I'm on the computer, I was looking. I was already. This is how my head works. So
Pain of Salvation, Hope Ends. You guys can listen to. The chorus is a little Queenish, let's say like that. You have a little influence. You're gonna like it again. Very
that's nice.
melodic. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, now let me take just a quick look here. Shout out to you, Alessandra. Hi, Simone. Oh, you were in my class last week. Nice to see you here, Simone. And Anderson, we were talking a bit about English and music, but you have another side of you related to programming. And how did you get into that field? By the way, the question was, do you have to be good in math to be good at programming and this type of stuff, or
No,
no, it's a myth?
it's funny. You have to good. You have to be good at with languages to be good at programming, because
Hmm.
programming is basically understanding the syntax of a sentence, right? So something like this. In Portuguese, we say the subject, I say the verb, want, and then I say an object. I want a beer. Sorry, your kids. I want a soda. So
Beer,
sorry.
yeah, yeah. You have a concert tonight. You can think about
Yeah,
beer.
I
No
have
problem.
lots of beer. Yeah. So um, when I understand how the syntax of a language work, and then I bring into programming, I know how to program, because this is what we do. So you don't have to be good at math because the computer is going to do all of the math. You have to be good at languages, understanding the structure of how things work. So it is so. but I was really good at math. So, and then when I entered the programming course back in I'm very old, by the way. Back in 2003, yes, back in 2003, I
Your
thought,
laptops were made of stones, right?
yeah, I had to take no, yeah. So I thought that I was going to use lots of math in the programming, but no, 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 no. You need to understand languages because programming is language. So, do I still use programming in my life right now? Yes, because I'm in the middle of my doctorate course, right? So I'm studying in the Federal University of Sergipe, and what I'm studying is artificial intelligence, more
Ah, cool.
specifically generative artificial intelligence. And what I want to do with my dissertation is understanding how chatbots work, right? So understanding how chatbots work and understanding if English teachers in the state of Sergipe know how to use this tool in order to give better classes. So, not only understanding, but what I want to do is to create a new chatbot using WhatsApp or Telegram. I'm still going to decide that. And the ChatGPT or the DeepSeek, I will still see what I want to do and join that in order to create a chatbot to help teachers. So this is the
You
programming
just
part.
triggered. You just triggered my tinfoil hat card. I'm gonna put a pin on it because every chance that I have that I get to wear my tinfoil hat here in the show, I take it. So Taina, yeah, she went there to get it, right? Nice, nice, nice. Okay, in a minute. But when you mention artificial intelligence and teachers, I thought you were gonna say something like this. If this type of AI would ever replace a human teacher, because I saw some kind of, let's say, prototypes of it, but they are like how can I say? It's like a correction system. You get this kind of character there. They stay like this, and then like, oh, hello, and hello, what is your name? Oh,
Yeah.
I name me Mikey. Oh, you mean my name is Mike? So it's like this. Is a pronunciation correct or something like this? Okay, now allow me, please, Everton, one
Oh yeah, I
moment.
see it.
One moment. This is a very important. Please, let's be serious. This is a very important moment for me. I wait the whole week to get to this point here on Wednesdays. All right. Can you tell us what is AI and what is it not? Because there's a lot of confusion. Like, oh my God, Skynet is gonna happen. No, they are just philosophical zombies. Like, because you use a very specific word, you say tool. So it's
It is a
not like
tool.
okay, go ahead.
It's
The
like
floor, no, the
this.
stage is yours. Yeah.
No, it's a tool, right? This I was gonna say cuchara. What's the word in English? What
The
spoon?
spoon. Yeah.
I remember cuchara, but not spoon. That's crazy.
Nice.
This is how languages work in your mind, right?
Yeah,
You never know.
yeah.
Yeah. It is a tool. It won't replace things. I mean, it will replace other tools. This is the key, right? So it's just like years ago we didn't have computers. We had those big machines, which the typewriters, right? And then we got a computer, which replaced an old tool. So new tools will replace old tools, but never people. People are unique, right? This brain of ours, sometimes you have to use your head because we think crazy things. Yes,
Yeah.
but it will never replace the human intelligence. It can't, right? But it is a tool. So my focus is, can teachers now use this tool in order to teach better classes? That's what I want to see, right? That's what I want to check. But no, and we've been using artificial intelligence for over 20 years. Google is a kind of artificial intelligence which give us results on searches that we do. But now the fuss about now is that we have generative artificial intelligence which
Mm-hmm.
creates things, right? And then I
Yeah,
was
everybody
because
everybody was crazy with the Studio Ghibli
everybody was crazy. And then
images and
I play with my band every weekend, and artificial intelligence will never have the group of things that are a group of a rock band, for example. So it won't replace everything. It is another tool. That's what people have to understand.
Is there okay, I guess I can remove it right now. Thank you so much. But it's gonna be here in case voices in my head suggest some,
All right.
some crazy one. Something interesting about AI, and that is a discussion that I've seen people having. It's like I don't know. It's like this. I don't know if people expect too much of it. I'll give an example. I saw this, I guess, was in Joe Rogan podcast. They were having a discussion, and he says, "Well, I've seen, episodes of AI simulating me interviewing, for example, Michael Jackson, and it was something like this. It has access to the recording of his voice, so it can try to emulate the timbre and the rhythm of speech, this type of things." But it's not exactly the same. It's very, very close, but not exactly the same. And the same with Michael Jackson, there. So you can create some stories, but it will be like a piece of fiction, something
It
like
is.
this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It won't ever be the real thing. I mean, some people get confused when they, especially our grandmas, right? When they see pictures, right? You know what I'm talking about, right? When they
Yeah.
see pictures of cats working in a coal mine, they go like, "Oh my God, those poor little cats are working. This can never happen." And I go like, "Grandma, it's the computer generated thing." So it is harder for older people because they have their ways. For us, and especially for the new generation, they're going to be raised together with the artificial intelligence. So we're gonna get to a point that we won't know what is real and what is fiction, but some things will never be replaced. That's what we have to understand. And AIs are just another tool made by humans to make our life easier.
Nice. This is for everybody wearing their tinfoil hats back home. You can be cool. Rest assured that Skynet's not gonna happen anytime soon.
Just be
Or
cool. Yeah.
maybe, or maybe that's exactly what they want. No, I'm joking.
Or
I
maybe
cannot say.
are we artificial intelligence is talking right
Yeah,
now?
yeah,
No,
yeah. We could.
just go back to 1999 and watch The Matrix.
Yeah.
Is everything real or is everything artificial? We don't know.
Oh, you are touching another prohibited topic, man. No, it's you hit all the bingo cards today. First, simulated reality. Nick Bostrom, amazing. He has the simulation argument, which is. Do you know
Yeah,
this
yeah.
one?
No, no. I have to read
Okay,
about it.
I'll try to do in 30 seconds.
All right.
That's what he said. It is like this. He he explains something like this. This guy is from Yale University. Nick Bostrom is the name of the philosopher. Basically, he says that eventually humankind will be able to simulate consciousness. Eventually, maybe in 1,000 years, we don't know. If this happens, we have a real world that can simulate another world. If it's an accurate simulation, this simulated world will be able to simulate another one. So this
Nice.
goes ad infinitum. By
Nice.
sheer probabilities, it is more likely that we are in one of those simulations than in the very first original world. And then so maybe just computing numbers, you are the
Yeah.
mathematician here, not me. But
Really
maybe we
not.
already are in one. Yeah,
I'm gonna ask
Uh,
a stupid question, but you know Rick and Morty, right? There's an episode.
yes. This is not
There's an
part of the bingo.
episode.
We're fine. Yeah.
There's an episode which they simulate civilization, which simulates another civilization. So yes, it was based on
Exactly.
this theory, probably. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So,
Science is
but
so
you see,
cool.
yeah, but this is interesting because you see, even when we only think about a very rational and solid argument, we can go to some crazy places like this one. But all right,
We're talking about
eventually,
music,
guys,
right?
what?
We were talking about music.
Yeah, but that's how real conversations go. You see,
Yeah,
we get sidetracked easily. By the way, I don't wanna finish this episode without you explaining how you can mix, the something very unique that is a Brazilian genre that we call brega
oh, yeah.
with rock and roll. You
It's my
caused the
new thing.
evidences effect. Yeah, and you have four bands, something like
Yeah,
this.
yeah. I'm currently playing in four bands. So there's my main band, which is called Club 80 or Clube 80, which we play songs from the 70s, 80s, and 90s. Cyndi Lauper, Madonna, Michael Jackson, Aha, Scorpions, blah 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 blah. You know what I'm talking about.
Nice.
And we play like every weekend. So we're gonna play. If you're watching me from Sergipe, we're gonna be playing at Jardins Mall this Saturday at 6 p.m. So be there or be square. Well, my second band is a cover of Ozzy Osbourne and Black Sabbath. So yeah, I play the
Nice.
keyboard.
I
Yeah, it is
love
cool.
Zach Wildman. It was one of
Oh yeah.
my favorite
I
guitar players.
so yeah, my friend who plays the guitar is crazy about this guy. The
Nice.
third band is a Latin related band. So we play lambadas, songs in Spanish. We're gonna be
But wait,
playing
wait.
tomorrow.
Like a rock and roll.
No, no, like no, the
That would be
real thing.
amazing, man.
Yeah, like we're
Okay.
playing the Kaoma version of lambada.
Okay.
Yeah, the
Nice.
real thing. Then lots of Rick Martin, Santana, blah blah. It's
Nice.
yeah.
Nice.
And then there's my new band, which is called Amante Profissional. It's a joke. Yeah,
Nice name.
John, John, John,
Professional lover.
professional lover. Yes. so, a little bit of story in my '80s related band. There's this song by a band called Eva Doce called Amante Profissional, and then I'm the one who sings that song. And then everybody started loving my performance, everything, and people were like, "You should have your own band." And I was like, "You know what? I'm gonna." And then I created with three other friends this band called Amante Profissional. And today is the premiere. So if you're watching me from Aracaju, we're gonna be playing at Clash Pub, which is in the just Google it. And we're gonna be playing brega. Yeah, so this is a band in which we play brega and rock and roll at the same time. So what we do is we get a Amado Batista song, for example, and then we mix with Metallica or Queen or Led Zeppelin, and then we create a new thing. Or we do the opposite. So we get, for example, Californication by Red Hot Chili Peppers, and then we play that song in the style of a rocha or forró. Or, yeah, that's what we do.
Dream of
It is fun,
California. Man,
you know what? You're
nice.
drinking with your buddies, with your girlfriend, and then you listen
Yeah.
to a song that you like, and it's either brega or rocha or mixed together. You're gonna have a lot of fun. Come on.
It's an amazing. I don't know if you guys are already doing this, but it's a perfect wedding band. You get the best of two worlds. You get everybody happy dancing together.
Funny, very funny
Yeah.
story. My favorite band in the United States is this band called Wedding Band, but they go like Banned, which is pronounced band, but they are band. Yeah, so and they
Mm-hmm.
play lots of weddings, birthdays, divorce parties.
Blue Night Club in a divorce party. That
Yeah,
would be
yeah,
interesting.
yeah, yeah. Doing shamu. Yeah, that's what we're gonna sing tonight, but in a rock version.
Nice. Do you have any? any funny stories? Because every musician that they are laughing here because it's a blue nightclub. They say, "Oh, boate azul," you know.
Watch us.
Yeah, I'm not gonna translate. Okay, crazy of love, search for remedy, nocturnal light. No. So,
Oh, geez.
what was the craziest stage story that you have, man? Somebody, I
You
don't
know,
know, wanted to dance with you, and you get a new member of the band in the middle of the concert.
no, what the craziest thing that happened to us, it wasn't with me, but I witnessed, I was watching him do that. We played in this city of Sergipe called Lagarto, Lizard. and yeah, and then we played on a really high stages, like 2 meters or higher.
Okay.
But my guitar player, he didn't know that was that high, and he thought that the back of the stage was a solid wall, but it wasn't. So it leaned against the wall, and then we only saw his legs, like oh, and then we were, he's either dead, and we won't play here anymore.
But
It was a
wait,
very important wedding. Yes,
what instrument was he playing?
the guitar.
So that's the thing. If the guitar continues, that would be badass.
No,
Like he falls in the middle of the solo, like
no, it
you see
went
the
mute.
legs, then that
We
is.
thought he died. We thought he died. But he was laughing, so it was a good signal. He was
Uh,
laughing. He didn't break any ribs or legs or etc. But we were like, dude, did you drink tonight? He was like, no, I'm sober.
oh man. I will tell a new story today. Okay,
All right.
it's the weirdest thing that happened to me when I was a vocalist of a band, and there were a lot, but this one because it looked badass. Oh my god, the guy's very drunk, or maybe he's high. Turned out we had this concert in a very small pub in Santos, like those underground rock bars that the first guy in the row is almost like you are singing, the guy's like here, like hey, want to sing too.
I've done it.
I
Yeah.
had I had a brilliant idea to eat some sfiras, some dumplings from a very famous franchise, and I don't know if the cheese was bad, but I started get a little, how can I say, it was a little bit of food poisoning.
Okay.
So in the middle of the concert, I start to have this pinching headache, and I felt my stomach not that well, and I was like, guys, I'm sorry. I have to go to the bathroom really quick. I think I have to vomit and I'll be right back. And in the middle of the concert, and then I had to go through the crowd. I
Uh,
went there,
yeah.
instantly ping, and then I went back. Okay, guys, let's continue the concert. Everybody, but
This
they
is rock
thought
and roll.
and they thought it was because of alcohol, was the dumplings, the sfiras. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways, yeah, but
This
it's
is
fine.
rock and
But
roll. You get
yeah,
sick, you vomit, you get back on stage, man. Yeah, the show must go on.
oh, it's a good one, good one. How do you? Oh, that before I ask you that, let me just read something here. One from Sandra. Among the instruments you play, which one do you like the most? Oh, that's true. We have the keyboard and the guitar on the back. So
I
you
really
mentioned
like
violin, piano.
the recorder because every kid has to know how to play the recorder, you know.
Hmm.
But my favorite one
To annoy
is
their parents.
yeah, of course, yeah, in the neighborhood.
Yeah,
But my favorite one is the piano for sure. I mean, I don't have a
nice.
piano, wood piano in my apartment, but I have the keyboards, which simulates the sound of a good piano. So
Mm.
that's my favorite for sure. I'm still learning how to play the guitar. I'm not a guitarist per se. I'm still learning. Because of my new band now, I want to play more songs on the guitar.
It's nice, yeah. I can only do a few power chords, just enough for me to write a song and get some notes there. But yeah, the secret is what we were talking at the beginning, right? Let's say you really want to learn an instrument. I guess 2 hours every day for 6 months you would be, playing a few songs.
There's this saying that it takes 10,000 hours for you to master something, right? It starts with minute one, hour one, week one, month one, and then eventually you will master whatever you want to.
Yeah, that's true. Everton, how do you? Okay, you mentioned a lot of different areas that you studied regarding education and other stuff, music, your work. How do you find space in a day to do everything? What's the secret?
So you know when Hermione was in the what's the movie, The Prisoner of Azkaban, he had a
Yeah.
timer here
Ah,
for.
you have one of those. Okay, makes sense.
I'm kidding. So I don't know. I don't know how to answer to this question, but I'm very hyperactive. I'm a very hyperactive person. I learn really fast whatever I have to learn. So it doesn't take me long hours in order to do the stuff that I have to do. So I work as a um, public educational manager during the day.
Mm-hmm.
Then I have my bands, and then I play my games. I write comic books. I never mentioned that, but I
Oh,
have
that's
an
cool.
Instagram page in which I write my comic strips. Back when I was in the master degree, I wrote about how languages produce humor. So what I did was I got those theories and then I started drawing comic books about these theories. So how do I manage everything? I don't know. Everybody asked me this question. It's really fun. I go like I still can sleep at least 6 hours every day, every night. You know, I just go with the flow. You know.
They are saying, okay, do you use Monday.com, Trello, list your phone? I just do the stuff I have to do. So I guess the short answer would be you don't procrastinate.
No, no, I really never do. And then on Sunday, I do nothing. You know, I close my
Ah, very
apartment.
healthy.
Yeah, I cook my food. You know, I sometimes go to the gym every now and again to the beach. But then I do nothing. You know, I prepare for my week. So I cook my food for the week. I do my readings um, for my PhD. You know, I think the thing is to prepare for things and never
Mm,
procrastinate. Yeah, yeah.
nice. Man, unfortunately, we are running out of time already. Damn,
Already.
yeah, it's easy to talk to you, man. I hope you have an amazing concert tonight.
Thanks.
I'm gonna stalk you on your Instagram to see if there are videos of the song.
All right.
One final thing. What would you say to adults that want to learn a language and are struggling, or having those, thoughts like, maybe it's not for me. I'm never gonna learn.
Just stop being a fuss and do it. Right. We only live once. I hate that sentence. It is true. It's a Buddhist thing. You only live once. So you have this life in order to accomplish whatever the hell you want to do. So why wasting time, right? Why be sitting on the couch watching people do things that you can do? Just go and do. You're going to make a lot of mistakes. I do. I make a lot of mistakes, but then I learn with my mistakes and then I carry on. This is the key, right? There's this Master Yoda sentence. He says that
Yeah.
mistakes the best teacher, the way he says. But I also agree when people say correcting your mistakes is the best teacher, because if you keep making mistakes, you will keep making mistakes. But when once you
Mhm.
correct your mistake, you learn a new thing, and then you apply that new thing to your life. So stop
Yeah,
it's not stop being lazy, but stop thinking that you can do and go ahead and do it.
nice. Okay. Thank you so much for being here, man. Very
Thank
nice
you.
talking to you. And
All
and
right.
guys, if you don't forget, this episode is going to be on Spotify tomorrow. Okay, say the name of your bands again, so people that are interested in knowing more, they can follow you on social media and stuff.
All right. All right. So my first band is Banda Clube 80, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then I have The Aussies, which is a cover of Ozzy Osbourne and Black Sabbath. Then I have Caju Caliente, which is the legendary because it's Aracaju, right? So Caju Caliente.
Mhm.
And then my new band, Banda Amante Profissional. Don't mistake me for a professional lover. I'm not. Still, I don't know. You never know the next day. But it's what my band is called, Banda Amante Profissional. And if you want to follow me on Instagram, just go ahead and type Everton Pessan. Very easy. I'm gonna be the only Everton Pessan in the world. I already did a search. There is a nickname, a last name called Pessan. It's a French one, but I'm the only one Everton Pessan in this multiverse, I think.
Nice, easy to find. Unless we are living in a simulation, but that's a talk for another episode. Thank you so much, guys. Bye bye. See you.
All right.
Oh, and Ever, they are probably not listening to us right now. If you are watching this, guys, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. This will be on Spotify tomorrow, and next week I hope to see you on the same day, same hour on the next episode of Talking Times. Bye bye.